talk to the peer. But this young Marine, we don't know really how serious, what shape he was in, and the peer continued to talk to him. But he acknowledged, and you kept calling back. So whether it's you or someone else, and you've got cards out there, give them out. We always give more than one card. One for you, one you give away. Because you never know who's out there struggling. Because likely they're not going to tell you. Because of the stigma, because of what they're going through. My wife and I lost a son to suicide in ROTC. Another call where he knew we could talk to somebody whenever he picked up the phone. So I asked him, if you need to call Vets for Warriors. Share it with your units. On our website, top right-hand corner says request materials. Fill out the form and send it, and we'll get you materials. We want to help folks before they're in crisis. Let's get to them early as we can so they can do great things and thrive. Thanks to each and every one of you.
Thank you, General Graham. And last but certainly not least, Ms. Sun.
Hello. So first of all, I want to thank you for your stories and all that you're doing in all of our communities to support our soldiers, our families, and our civilians. This is very important work, and today I'm here to ask you for your partnership in two areas. One, to be a partner with our leaders and the buddies who are looking every day after all of the soldiers within our communities. And what we've noticed is when we team together, the leaders, the buddies, and the spouses, they team together, they are able to instill good values and support and strength within our communities. And that's what we're doing here today. We're talking about resilience, and I hope to give you some tools and ways in which you can become an intervener, as Ms. Williams spoke about. This is very important work for us right now. And in these two areas, we need your help. I'd like to share with you a story about a soldier who, he and his spouse were participating in our resiliency training. They were learning about the protective factors, and they were learning about some of the key warning signs of people in trouble. And ironically, when they got home that night, they started discussing with each other. And here's what they learned, and here's what they realized. They realized within their own home, their son had stopped eating. He had withdrawn from his friends, as well as he had also seen a decrease in his performance in his schoolwork. There were things that were happening in the household. There were challenges in his relationship with his girlfriend as they had just broke up. He had got a speeding ticket. But the parents believed that these were just the common things about adolescence and growing up and being a teenager. But they reflected back on the training that they had learned through the past week, and what they realized is that their son was demonstrating some very key risk factors. And they didn't hesitate, they became interveners. And they sat down with their son, and they asked their son, how are you doing? They used some of the tools, the connection-building tools within the resiliency training. They discussed how they could come together, and then lastly, their son shared with them that the very next morning he intended to take his life. That was the most timely intervention that you can imagine. All of us in our community need to be understanding what the protective factors are, those things that make us strong, that make us resilient. We need to, the key indicators are to those who need help. And then we need to take action. And we need to respond immediately and get those folks to help and let people know that we care about them. We have several ways to do this. The first is our resiliency training that we offer at each of the installations. And I pledge that you should go and take the resiliency training. Not just for yourself, to develop your personal readiness. And when I speak of personal readiness, I'm talking about your physical body and how well you feel as a person. Your psychological and emotional mind, and how well you're able to cope and power through. Your social connections with your family, with external folks, and with your community. With your spiritual domain, the practices that you have to renew yourself. your ability to understand your purpose and contribute to the world. And then lastly, how your family unit can become resilient. How you can demonstrate some of the skills that Corey presented and power through the difficult times, manage your resources. So we had resiliency training, and it was so successful with our spouses who are phenomenal resiliency trainers now, that we are also now offering the resiliency training for teens, so that a similar dialogue can be had in the family. Everyone is using the same frames of reference when they talk about resiliency training. And to further redefine how we can use peer-to-peer counseling, because what we know is our sons and our daughters have a propensity to go on and serve as we have. And so that brings us an opportunity for our children to come into the Army and serve as peer-to-peer support. And you can take the gap, and that will give you an indicator on those 5 dimensions that I've already mentioned, and how well and fit you as an individual are. Because we need you to be personally ready. We need you to enable your family to be personally ready. And we also need to enable you so that you can endure and ensure that our community is personally ready.
Thank you, ma'am. We'll turn to some questions and answers. As you know, you have cards on your table. If you fill one out and hold it up, someone will come by and pick it up, and we'll get into the queue here. The first question is for Trevor. How do you see the needs of military kids changing as we draw down?
We're drawing down. A lot of people don't realize that there is still training going on. There are still people being sent overseas, people looking after embassies. There is still a continual deployment, if not officially in a situation like in Afghanistan. So what we have to do is...
Two-part question. So part one is, how can we as Army families support Vet for Warriors? Is there an online donation option or some other mechanism like CFC or anything like that?
There is an online donation on the website, and thanks for that. There's a website. You go to the website, click donate, and it goes to, it's a 501c3 through the Rutgers University Foundation that comes to support Vets for Warriors.
The second part is, or what are some of those guidelines for encouraging someone in need to call Vets for Warriors?
No guidelines. Whatever it is, whatever you're going through, no matter, there's something that's serious to you might not be serious to someone else, it might be vice versa. So there's no conditions. When they call, I oftentimes say, a lot of times when people call, they feel like they're just getting hit with a fire hydrant full of things.
What are some ways the Army can do a better job of supporting Army marriages?
It's a great question. I think there's a lot of things that they're doing that's great already. I think some of the resiliency, like learning skills, and I think that's really important that the Army the DoD has put out on how to be resilient. Our chaplaincy is doing a great job with retreats. Me personally, my husband and I love doing retreats, and it's our passion. We see our marriages come in and are changed and are better for it. But really, when I say it's time to be creative and innovative, we really need to take a look at all the different generations that we have of the military family. We have senior spouses, and we have brand new senior young spouses, and so we got to look at what is the cultural shift that's happening and how can we be more creative. So I've been brainstorming and thinking of things like, the retreats are great, and I don't want those to end. I want to see us do more marriage enrichment type of stuff. She just wants me to roll everything in sugar. And I looked at it and I said, well, then roll it in sugar. It's not that hard. And I think sometimes that the Army, the military, and the military family is kind of like a marriage. And so a lot of times in marriage...
Sometimes you have to be a sugar cookie. It's talking about the SEALs getting rolled in the sand for doing bad, so I think that's brilliant. This next question is from Ms. Saunders, and it's really a clarification, ma'am, on the question says, what is the resiliency training you referred to? Is it master resiliency training? Is there something else?
Sure. There's a couple of different levels of resiliency training that we have right now. One is the what you would know as the Comprehensive Soldier Family Fitness Master Resiliency Training, where spouses can go